Hello, everybody. I am here to talk about today's dreadful Big Brother 27 live feeds. I'm gonna try and make this quick because I am tired, but let's get into it. Last night, Kat and Riley were fighting again. Kat was offended that Riley basically said she is using him for game and doesn't care for him outside of the game. And he did his typical love bombing, his love harassment, as I called it, to try and make things up with her. It was more awkwardness between this terrible showmance. At one point, Kat even tried to pull Morgan into a conversation because she was upset with Riley. But eventually the love bombing paid off and the lovebirds were back together. The edit for Riley in Wednesday's episode, and by the way, I only watch Thursday's episodes because I don't waste my time watching the editing on this show because it's a waste of time because they never actually give even 10% accuracy with their edit. So it's no surprise to me that Riley continues to get this sort of showman's hero edit. He is an Alison Grodner golden boy. He is a typical Alison Grodner casting. He was casted purposefully. We all ask, how could casting cast someone like Riley, who has a rap sheet outside of the house, who is creepy in the house? It's because Alison Grodner loves people like Riley who just come on the show for showmances. Now, she got more than she bargained for with all this emotional manipulation that's borderline abuse. And the edit in the episodes turning him into a hero kind of just sets this terrible precedent for future women house guests. He was edited like he's just lovesick for Kat and she's not ready. It is terrible editing, but no surprise to me, which is why I only watch Thursday episodes. But at the same time, Kat does seem to want this man. She does. That's all I can say. So maybe they actually will be together after the show. It'd be a nightmare for Kat, but it seems to be what she wants. Now, Lauren, Riley, and Kat are getting their Sundown Town Alliance that Lauren tried to start during her HOH week that I talked about way back when. But it's still not quite a real alliance unless Vince makes it so this week when he inevitably votes out Mickey over Riley if it comes down to those two on the block. Now, Riley, Kat, and Lauren are the current real Sundown Town Alliance, but Vince is in it, but he's also in like 37 other alliances, so is it a real alliance to him? Only if he could use it to his advantage. Callie is in it, but she's at the bottom of the alliance, and she probably knows she's at the bottom of the alliance, but she doesn't care because she's not even trying to win the game, which is why she's always fine with being on the block. And then there's that person we talked about yesterday that doesn't have a brain, Mr. Keanu, who really, really wants this alliance to be a thing, who ran into the alliance all talking in the bathroom without him because they don't actually want him in the alliance, so that they could do their little celebration alliance thing. Yay. But the truth is that Keanu, a brown man, doesn't realize that he is in a sundown town. He didn't realize that when he walked into the bathroom. And the fact is that nobody in the alliance actually wants him in it, and they are using him and his lack of brain for a vote this week. Now, as I talked about yesterday, Vince is in a tough spot because even though he controls the vote this week, he could easily create a big mess for himself because he's basically aligned with everyone. And I don't like how obviously he always plays it. Like, there's no real finesse to his game. It's really all out in the open. He's just lucky to be playing with the stupidest cast to ever be cast. And I don't know what is best for him because I said this for days now. It was best for him to try and set up Keanu if it comes down to Morgan and Riley, because for Vince's game, Morgan staying is way better. I get what he's saying, that the Showmance, Riley and Kat, could be a target in front of him and Lauren if he and Lauren start to be seen as a duo. And there's some merit to that. But either way, if he's ever on the block next to Lauren, his ass is going home. It's a dangerous choice for Vince. He did try to sway Lauren today about splitting up the Showmance, because if Morgan goes, the house will see him and Lauren as a duo instead of him and Morgan as a duo. And while Lauren finally told Vince that Rachel did tell her that she was going to put up Riley before Lauren used the veto, and Lauren thought it right. Lauren thought Rachel was bluffing. And then also Lauren told Vince that Riley basically said he would protect Kat and Lauren at all times. So that statement should have made Vince feel like he's on the bottom of that 4. But he seems to be wanting to keep Riley over Mickey for sure, but maybe even over Morgan. There's been some other talks tonight, which we'll get to. But, Vince is a scared player. I feel like he's afraid to make a big move. And he's going to need others in on this vote to make sure that Morgan is actually staying over Riley if those two end up on the block. My biggest problem with Vince's game is that it becomes so unnecessarily messy. Like, he wants to play this mastermind game, but it's the sloppiest mastermind game we've ever seen because it's unnecessarily messy. If Vince is just going to keep Riley over either Morgan or Mickey, he did all that fakery last night with the Judges Alliance to work with Will, Ashley, Morgan, and Rachel. He stayed up all night talking to Rachel. They actually did some gaming for once. They stayed up until the wee hours of the morning, also just to get to know each other on a personal level for once. But if he did all that just to vote out Riley over Morgan, then in my book, my judgment of him goes back down. Because I've been saying this week, he got the veto used on him with Lauren, that maybe he actually is a good player. But the fact is, if he joins in on the vote against Riley, if it's Riley and Morgan anyway, even if he doesn't set Keanu up, he only pisses off Kat. Because Lauren would need him. Callie would be upset again, but who gives a shit, because she still gives him information anyways when she was upset the first time when Vince and Zach flipped the vote. And then Keanu's mad at him too. That matters. Keanu is so far up Vince's ass that I don't think that's ever going to change. So, I don't know. I think the obvious right choice for Vince is if it's Morgan and Riley, he should be keeping Morgan. Now, if it's Mickey and Riley, Mickey's game has been blown up to smithereens because she's so stupid. She's probably going over anyone and probably should. Let's move on to Ava, who is playing like she is 2 weeks behind in the game despite being HOH last week, which to me really proves that she did a very bad job of getting info during her HOH reign. She really failed at figuring out information throughout the house. She really failed at making connections. A big move was made on her HOH, but for her own game, I don't know if it was helped at all. In fact, I think all of that sleep is just catching up to her now. And then Will, per usual, has been too passive in trying to get Ava to vote the right way for them this week. That would actually help both of them with their numbers. Now, Ava is also convinced because, Will's being too passive, and he's always too passive with his alliances. He can't let all these numbers of his get voted out because, him being passive gets him further in the game. But eventually, if his allies go, he's going to go too. The problem is with Ava is that she has this blind spot for Riley that makes no damn sense because those two never even talk game, which is why I'm saying Ava just seems lost in the game. I don't understand the connection between Ava and Riley because on feeds, we haven't really seen it. Maybe there's a slight personal connection, but game wise, there's literally nothing. I guess it's just another problem with this season having too many damn recruits because Ava's lost. Now, Morgan has been doing a really good job this week. I said this yesterday. She is doing a great job on the block. She's staying calm, talking who she needs to talk to. And I said a week and a half ago, when a lot were doubting me, that Morgan might get a redemption in this game. And if she stays this week, she really might get it because Morgan made great pitches to Ava today, and she needed to. And then tonight, Rachel gave a good push to Ava about keeping Mickey or Morgan over Riley for the future of their numbers in the game. Now, I think Ava did catch on to what Rachel was saying, and Rachel did a good job of flipping Ava. She flipped Ava by throwing her own wannabe number one Keanu under the bus. Rachel was saying, and I quote, "If Riley is here and Keanu is obsessed with him, those two together, that's effing scary. Riley and Keanu are more scary than the Showmance, frankly." Ava agreed. Rachel also told Ashley and Ava that the shot has to happen. They can't miss. If Keanu and Riley are together and they are so good at competitions, that's terrifying. She also called out Callie for being their little lapdog, and Catherine is with them. That's 4 votes. So I do think Rachel shook some sense into Ava, and Ava wanted to go discuss the vote with Vince because they are kind of in the middle and deciding factors this week. In that conversation with Vince, though, Vince seems very scared to vote out Riley. And like I said earlier in this video, he is just a very scared player. I think as it stands right now, Vince is scared to vote out Riley, even over Morgan, even though that would be stupid of him. Ava is saying she wants to keep Morgan over Riley. She feels it in her gut, and her gut is actually right. And she might be able to get Vince on board with that because Morgan is good for Vince's game, and it helps him stay slightly more in the middle, even though he's still playing too sloppy. And like I said earlier, he's really just going to piss off Kat. Yeah, Keanu and Callie will be pissed too, but who cares about them? And I mean that. Who cares about them as players? Because I don't. They don't care about their own games. Callie especially, who just always wants to be on the block, doesn't seem like she's trying to win. But then Keanu, as we discussed yesterday, loud and wrong every single day, every single hour, every single minute, he's being wrong about something. As I wind down here, I also want to give my girl Ashley some credit because despite being quite a messy player, she's played a huge part in exposing Mickey this week and pushing Morgan and Rachel to get back on good terms. Ashley's been right for weeks now about needing to keep numbers when people like Mickey have played so stupid getting rid of numbers, and now all these HOHs, people are trying to catch up to Mickey's huge mistake. And I also think Ashley is a big part of Rachel nominating Riley because Ashley has been pushing the Showmance's 2 votes angle since last week. And with numbers dwindling, she's right, per usual. Mickey's game is in the shitter thanks to, she's basically turned her back on every single ally at some point in this game. And she turns her back on allies for people who don't fuck with her. So she's literally getting no info this week. But she might be the main reason Riley stays. Because if Mickey wins Blockbuster, I actually think, and I've said this already this week, but I think it even more now, there is quite a big chance that she actually votes out her ally, Morgan, over Riley. Because that's how ass backwards this stupid woman is. She's a stupid woman. And I don't know if it is this crush on Riley. I don't know what her obsession with saving Riley is. But if she would go so far as to vote out Morgan over Riley, she deserves all the flack she's going to get after this game for being the stupid idiot that she is. So yeah, I'm going into tomorrow's vote expecting the worst, especially after the edit they gave Riley that I saw on social media in Wednesday night's veto episode. They gave Mickey a bad edit. I think the odds are Mickey goes home if Riley wins a blockbuster, especially, or Morgan. Mickey's going home against Riley too. My fear is though that Mickey somehow wins Blockbuster and Morgan goes home. That's gonna be so bad for feeds because today's feeds were not good. And last night's feeds having to watch Riley and Kat and their toxic relationship again was not good. Both Mickey and Riley staying is definitely worst case scenario for feeds.